So this is a USB red top crack vial. It contains crack music. The music on here is my debut album, House Down from the Liquor Store, hence HDLS. I broke it down. And this is an idea that I put together in 2015 December when I kind of found the core of the message in my debut album, which is the journey of a poor black boy from Bushwick, torn between his dreams and hardships in the home. You know, the hardships that I had was a mother addicted to drugs, you know, that plight of that kid growing up in a household with a mom on drugs, and also an older brother who I lost to the system because he rebelled against, you know, the things that was happening in the home. So thinking about different ways to be creative about expressing that story, I needed to find ways to be very provocative and very intentional with the messaging, since I really paid a lot of attention to the detail that I wanted to utilize lyrically in the music, and not relying on skits, but to really just really expand out the story. So what I thought about was time capsules that contain crack music. You know, if 500 years from now, if I was to hide this, you know, in the earth somewhere, and somebody would find it and they still were able, you know, using technology, USB formatted, they would be able to find this and know what my story was. So that was something that really makes this process of this album and just like this journey really exciting, because I'm able to give these to people, really to put this on the market, and it represents a certain time frame. You know, represents the crack era. It represents kids who grew up, you know, on the opposite side of the drug dealer's glory. You know, and I say that my album is and has been being received so well because it is a trip down New York City's opposite side. You know, most of the music that's come out of here has always been dominated by the perspective of the hustler. But here you have it, you know, an album that talks about the kids who grew up affected by, you know, drugs, but not condemning what was happening in the streets, but more so saying that, yeah, you know, we were affected and fucked up by everything that's happening too. So that's why this is so valuable to me, because it makes me think of being that kid on the playground, you know, walking over crack vials. You know, it's something that I put in somebody's hand, you know, and they automatically can be like, yeah, damn, is that? And I'll be like, yeah, and it's like, yeah. And then when you listen to the music, it's actually in line with what the journey and what the story is, and how, you know, the main point of it is that every crack vial has a story. So, you know, this one is mine, you know, and these are the stories of so many kids who grew up in the inner city who were affected by, you know, drug addiction, you know, affected by having leaders in their lifestyles, you know, leaders in their community, and, you know, anyone that was just, you know, around that time that really got hit, you know, hard during the crack era. So that's what these are, and that's why they're so valuable to me. When it comes to the album, man, I just have to say this. It's very important for me to know that there's value in music. There's value in our stories. You know, it's people who sit on boards who pitch our stories to, you know, funders, and they get money for it. You know, our stories, our hardships. You know, it's CEOs of companies who pitch our struggle and our hardships for finance, and they live comfortably in different spaces, and the money trickles down to our communities, and they give us, you know, a pop-up community center here or something like that. But, you know, these are people who, for the most part, really live off of selling our stories. So I kind of really wanted to start to think about how could we empower ourselves to sell our story, to tell our stories, and be able to live off of that. So, you know, a part of what I want to do with this is an initiative called the 588 Initiative, and it's a goal to sell 588 of these that contain my story, and be able to utilize the financial gain and that leverage to develop different initiatives that I have under the 588 Initiative, different campaigns that I have, like My Playground, My Escape, you know, like, man, G Camp, you know, talking about restoration in the community, as well as leveraging myself and my artistry to become more known globally, to be able to just impact and inspire, you know, a lot more. And I kind of think of it this way, when you think about art, a person can have $50 and they can go to like an art shop and they can buy canvas, they can buy paint, they can buy sketch pencils, and they can come home and spend a day and a half painting an amazing canvas that represents an emotion, meaningful to them, and they could take it around and get $10,000 for it, $5,000 for it, but artists, could write a song that they took 3 days to write, to pour in music, to pour in their message in that music, go to a studio that they have to pay for $300 for a few hours to get it mixed and mastered, and then be able to put it out for $1. It's just something that's just like a little interesting to me, because we're all able to have impact and have that, but for some reason music seems to be the one that is always getting the least out of everything, the efforts that we put in, so super inspired by Nipsey Hussle and his Proud to Pay campaign when he launched the Crenshaw album and he sold it for $100. Art imitates life, so one of the things as an artist, being very independent, it's important for me to create the necessary leverage and revenue streams that people can support me and allow me to build my legacy. And within that, the return is everything that you see me doing, from community work to putting on to be a great artist and stand and represent our stories, so thanks to the works of like a Hove or the late great Nipsey Hussle, with his Proud to Pay campaign, artists like myself have the ability to create the necessary value that we have for the things that mean the most to us. And based on how it's affecting the lives of people, you guys have found ways to support that. So my Proud to Pay campaign is something called the 588 Initiative, and my goal is to sell 588 of these for the price of $100. And on it, you get my new single product, the new music video product, you get my debut album, and a bunch of dope content that I have around the album, as well as this dope t-shirt and advance ticket to a private event that I'm putting together specifically for anyone who makes a purchase of this, because the goal is to really make sure that we have that synergy and that connection. And like I said, 588 is significant to me because I grew up at 588 Wilson Avenue. So my commitment within your commitment is to make sure that I expand out my contribution to the world, which will always revolve around 588. Which is, if I do a coat drive, we're giving away 588 of those. If I do a turkey drive, we're giving 588 of those away. When I do my playground, my escape throughout the year, I'm reaching to give out 588 basketballs. My main goal is to have that commitment to the work that I've been putting in on, and also the work that I want to continue to put in, and also how I want to leverage my success in my career going forward. With me, it's never divided, it's hand in hand. So my main goal is to make sure that you guys find ways to empower that. And one of the first steps is to find a way to be proud to pay. And this launches on June 21st on my website, talentofhype.com. And I'm excited. And my album's doing really well. I have a lot more videos that we're gonna get to, man. Short film, there's so much more. But like I said, very important to have you guys backing me, because that creates the necessary leverage that we have as independent artists to expand our stories further. So I'm gonna continue to tell mine and always inspire you to tell yours, and know that where you come from and what your story is valuable, and dictate what that is. So this is Varsity P signing out, and always, always, always make sure you are proud to pay and support the artists that put on for what you believe in.
I'm a product of my environment, so all the flyer shit is what I am trying to get. As I stare down the road, many stare down